and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
So we split the difference. I know you like the old theme, but we kind of like the new one too. So we decided to go with both. Good morning, everyone. David Whiting joins us as well. David, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
It's great to have you on board. Thank you so much for coming to Wantirna South. Do you play basketball?
No, I did at school, but not since, no.
What did you think of my little spin around in the velomobile?
I thought it was fantastic. I was a bit worried you were going out of the room, though. And I must point out that there were a lot of people watching.
Yeah, there were a lot of people watching. I was scared I was about to hit the southeastern freeway as well. Do we have any homework from last week?
We had two lots of homework. One was Christo from Thornbury, because we talked about new swimming pool regulations. And
yes, that's
wanted
right.
to know,
that's right, yes.
He had a relocatable swimming pool, 60 to 70 mil deep, that had a pump and everything else. And was it covered? The answer is yes, it is. So if you go and hire or buy a swimming pool that's more than 10 inches deep, so pools and spas include relocatable pools and spas, and it's you don't need any protection for under 300 millimetres.
So you don't have to put a fence in, say, for that inflatable pool, but you will have to get it registered.
Well, no. There are issues in relation to barriers. So if it's more than, you'll need to register it if it's more than 300 millimetres deep, but all of the safety requirements in the regulations come in as well.
Wow.
So there's much less value, you might say, in a temporary one.
Yeah.
Unless you're prepared to put in all of these other things.
So you think you may as well go the whole hog?
Even if it's above ground, perhaps.
Yeah,
yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Any other issues arising?
We had RJ, who had let an apartment in South Bank for $1,500 for a weekend.
That's right.
Through PayPal.
Yes.
And had been rejected by PayPal. The buyer protection systems on the PayPal website would appear to work for her if she was able to establish that, in fact, the premises had been used. So that's the test. Were the services delivered? Were the goods delivered? And you would do that in terms of services by proving that they used the facilities. Now, I would guess that there would be electronic locks involved in an apartment in South Bank. So I would have thought that evidence would be fairly simple.
Okay. David Whiting is with you, taking your legal calls as he always does. We'll try and give it a manufacturing spin this morning, if you like. If you work in that field, if you need some advice in terms of startups, many legal issues around that, and business and manufacturing and getting your job done, David can help you, but also our general talk back on legal advice as well. Our number is 1300 222 774. You can text me as well, 0437 774 774. Do give us a call. Love to hear from you. We're taking your calls out here at the State Basketball Centre. All right, I think we have Kevin in St Kilda is our first call. Kevin, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, David and Virginia. Thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I'm sorry I don't have a question about manufacturing.
That's all right. You don't have to.
We'll make one up. Yep.
It's just in regards to my 11-year-old daughter lives with her mother in another state, and she has expressed a strong desire to relocate to Melbourne to start high school next year. And I'm just about to I'm staring down the gamut of child custody battle in court, and I know that her mother has history in Melbourne and might want to move to Melbourne. So my question is, rather than spending an extremely large amount of money in court, do people ever sort of make cash offers to parents to relocate?
Well, you can do it any way you like, Kevin. I think that sounds remarkably sensible, because you're now at the point you're saying, well, I'd like to share my daughter with the mother, rather than I want the daughter to me and you can stay where you are.
Are there tricky custody arrangements between the two of you that don't allow you or prevent you from seeing your daughter as often as you like? Is there that hurdle to get over as well?
Nothing legal, Virginia, just some extreme difficulties in communications and
Sure.
mediation. But I know that the mother would live in Melbourne quite possibly, but there's a lot of expenses involved in relocating, and And I thought, rather than spending $50,000 to $100,000 in court, perhaps I could take a portion of that and make an offer.
Kevin, I think it's a brilliant scenario. If the mother is willing to move to Melbourne and moving to Melbourne works for her in the longer term, I think it's fantastic. Would make it the relationship that both of you have with your daughter so much better.
Exactly. And look, and can I just say, getting personal here for a second, because I'm a stepmum to 3 great kids, and divorce and separation is really hard. Anything when a kid sees the parents getting along, nothing makes them happier than that. Nothing at all. Even if the gesture is not, if you can't get it through, and I really hope you can, just the fact that you made it will mean the world to your 11-year-old. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin's not using his real name there for obvious reasons, and fair enough, but thanks for calling in. That's an unusual... You don't often hear that, do you, David?
No, I think it's a very clever approach. What you find in family law disputes, they're entrenched. They're going nowhere. But from what Kevin said, there are no really any orders at the moment. Mum lives in another state.
There are no orders preventing it. It's the interpersonal stuff that might prevent it.
Yes, and the orders would often relate to access and transport arrangements.
Yeah.
It wouldn't compel you to live where you are.
Okay, Fiona is in Ringwood. Good morning, Fiona. We're not really in your part of the world, but we're not too far away.
Hi, Virginia. Hi, David. Look, I'm not sure if you are going to be able to help me. We've just recently moved into a property, and we have a fence about 2 metres away from my daughter's bedroom window. And then on the other side of that fence is our neighbour's area where there's a table, and he sits and pretty much chain smokes throughout the day. It means we can't open any windows on that side of our house. My daughter has asthma, and we'd really like to get some fresh air throughout the house, but I know there's laws surrounding smoking and eating places, but I'm just wondering if we're in any position to be able to do anything with a neighbour who's smoking probably 4 metres from our windows.
There's no statutory provision that assists you. There are a series of cases that would indicate you may have a claim against the owner to prevent the smoke coming onto your property.
Yeah, okay.
But we're starting to... I wonder whether you might consider whether it's possible to vent your daughter's bedroom in a different way, rather than spend the money on litigation over the smoke. But yes, it would be possible.
We're renting, so...
You're what? You're renting?
We're renting, yeah.
Yeah. Look, it is possible. There's a concept in tort law called nuisance. It's a continuing nuisance. The smoke comes substantially onto your property. You would probably need some measurement devices that would measure the amount of smoke that came to the window and probably in the window. So I'd be looking at some devices that measure that, and then consider what you do from there.
It would drive me completely crazy, Fiona. I completely understand. I lived above...
I understand he chooses to smoke, and that's fine, and obviously doesn't want the smell of the smoke in his house, but we're getting it in ours because he's taking the smoke outside.
A conversation doesn't work? A conversation about just moving slightly to the left or right of where he smokes?
It'd be the courtyard next to his house.
It is a courtyard, so his is an enclosed courtyard. And unfortunately, he's got quite a narrow space, and so do we.
Can I suggest, Fiona, what about a higher fence? Even a higher fence of perspex so that the light comes through. So if something could be put on top of the fence for a metre or so, that may make a significant difference to the amount of smoke that comes to the window.
That's a good suggestion, and that would not be too expensive either if it's just that addition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good luck, Fiona.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Great to hear from you. That would drive me mad. I lived above a shop for a while as I was a young student, and my bedroom was right above the news agency. And the guy who came to deliver the papers, at 4 a.m.
To roll the papers up first thing in the morning.
To roll them up and then to gather them up and then to send them out for delivery. He had a cigarette dangling from his lip the entire time. And there was something about that old Victorian structure. There was some hole somewhere between the downstairs and my bedroom. I'd be woken up with a shock every morning at 4 a.m. smelling cigarette smoke in my room, and it was just appalling. It was awful.
I went to a client last week who's early stages of dementia, and we're sitting in a kitchen trying to talk about moving into care. I think in the half hour there she had 5. It was,
Yeah,
okay, glad to get out.
It's yes. And less tolerable as time goes on, because we don't have it around us. You smell it in an instant and you just can't put up with it if you are a non-smoker. Our number is 1300 222 774. We're taking your legal talkback calls this morning. Doesn't matter that we're in a basketball centre. We can do it with David Whiting because David Whiting is mobile and he can do it anywhere. And also, if anyone is here at the Victorian Manufacturing Showcase, and if you have a legal question for David Whiting, particularly as it relates to your work or to a startup, to getting business done in the state, dealing with red tape in your business, David Whiting is your person. You can step up. So Matilda will put her hand up and she'll show you. You can come to her and she'll come over with you and you can ask your question of David. Give us a call, 1300 222 774. In the meantime, I know that we were talking earlier about the homework that you had to do. Are there any sort of headline news stories out of the law that you should share with us today?
The first one was that there are no whistleblower protections for tax office employees. Now, on the 1st of July, every corporation with a turnover of a particular amount is obliged to have a whistleblower protection policy. Mm-hmm. That was a piece of legislation introduced just before the last election. Most corporations that I know don't have one. But there was a Senate hearing last week that talked about whether there was any whistleblower protection for employees at the tax office. Nope, absolutely none. You're a whistleblower. In this particular case, the whistleblower was sacked.
Well, you're talking to one of the members of the Right to Know campaign, yes, as an employee of the ABC and a long-time former employee of Fairfax, now 9. So you ain't telling me nothing there, David.
Okay.
And if you want an open, a fair and a transparent system, and if we'd like to believe that democracy functions with all the pillars of a democratic society in place, that involves people in those positions being able to speak truth to power with some legal protection from time to time.
Well, it's not happening in the tax office.
No, it certainly isn't. SMS question for you here, David. Can you still get a fine from the police while you're on a privately owned road inside a shopping centre boundary? I wasn't hooning, I was at a red light. I got my phone out to use my map. This is Sam from Chadstone. Were you inside Chatty, were you? Was it actually at the Chadstone Shopping Centre? Can you still get fined from the police from using your phone behind the wheel of your car when you're inside a shopping centre grounds?
Yep, is the answer. A landowner can ask for the road rules to apply to their shopping centre. And that often happens, so there'll be parking restrictions and the road rules apply.
Speed limits apply.
All of those things. In fact, generally a lower speed limit. That's an application made by the landowner to council.
Yep.
Most of the major centres apply the road rules inside, so yes, you can.
Yes, you
because
can.
it's a controlled area.
Lynn in Rosebud, hello.
Yes.
Hello, Lynn.
Just a question for David regarding the legislation about pools. How does this affect dams on properties?
It's only swimming pools and spas. If you've got a dam on a property, you're supposed to register it with Southern Rural Water anyway. The government really seems to want to know where everybody's got some captured water. So I thought it was a bit mad that they wanted to register dams, but you register a dam with Southern Rural Water.
Presumably you don't have to have it fenced.
No.
Have you registered your dam though, Lynn?
No, we're thinking of moving to a property, so we just wondered what the legislation is around the dams on the property.
No. Not a swimming pool, it's a dam. It needs to be registered, but the security fencing issues don't arise.
All right, so you're safe there. Good on you, Lynn. Thanks so much.
Okay,
Colleen is in Geelong. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, how you going?
Good, thanks. Go ahead.
That's good. Look, my mum was in an aged care facility for 2 years. She's passed on. She's been passed away for a couple of years now.
It's a really
Well,
wobbly line.
Colleen,
sorry, I'm jumping in. Colleen, I'm going to get you to take 2 steps either to the left or the right or wherever you are. I don't care what direction. Just take 2 steps and stand still and try again.
Okay, right now?
Yep, better.
Yep, oh good. My mum was in an aged care facility for 2 years. Now, when she passed on, Centrelink sent her a letter saying that some money was owed to her, to the estate. It was a substantial amount. Now, we talked to the nursing home and they said no, that it's never been paid. And just about a year ago, we made some more inquiries and Centrelink have actually paid the money to the home. And we've got a solicitor involved, but they just won't pay it back. What's a good thing to do?
Colleen, why does Centrelink owe your mums any? Why did they owe your mother any money?
They said that she'd paid too much to the nursing
Paid
home.
her pension or to the nursing home?
To the nursing home.
Under the residence agreement that your mum would have signed with the nursing home, they are obliged to repay 14 days after you get a grant of probate or letters of representation.
Oh, okay.
So
yep.
if you're trying to do an informal administration of your mum's estate, that lots of people do if it's a small estate, they don't have to repay. You get a grant of probate or letters of administration, you go to the nursing home and they've got 14 days to pay you back and they have to pay you interest.
Yes, yeah. Now, it's been 2 years. We have got a solicitor involved, but they just won't come to the party. We've got letters stating that, the money's paid to the nursing home, but they just won't pay it back.
So I don't understand. This is money that your mother paid, but then there was a retrospective change to her contribution obligations by Centrelink, and as a result, there's money due back.
Yes.
If you're not getting your money back, talk to the Department of Health and Aged Care.
Yes. All right then. Thank you so much for your help. I've listened to your show. It's terrific.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Good on you. Thanks for calling in. Good luck with that, Colleen. That sounds outrageous. But you're confused about something here.
No. Well, I couldn't understand why Centrelink was paying. What Colleen started with was Centrelink was paying the aged care home.
The money, the money sort of came from there, almost like a circular.
When you go into aged care, you have an aged care assessment that determines what your contribution is, but you have to pay it.
Yeah. And
then you can apply for a variation of that contribution, and they will backdate the change to the time you notified Centrelink.
What confuses me, though, is why did Centrelink pay that money to the aged care home rather than just returning it to the person who apparently overpaid in the first place?
Okay, because it was a contribution made by the government to the aged care facility in respect of that person's care, that they weren't obliged... it was an overpayment by the aged care resident.
Yes.
That was above her entitlement.
That's right.
Centrelink says you paid too much. That's owed by the aged care facility to the family of the resident.
Jane in Glen Iris has a parking fine dispute, I think. Hi, Jan.
Hi, good morning. No, it's not a parking fine, Virginia. It is a speeding fine. I got a speeding fine that I have driven just 4 kilometres over the specified time, speed. But this, when I looked on the website, there is it's all dark, black. Only the number of my car is there, so there's no location. But underneath it says that this happened at a particular place. But there's no proof. They could have taken it when I had parked the car in my driveway and said that I have a speeding fine. So what is my legal right in this case, please?
Yeah, you're allowed to go and look at the photograph. You can dispute any element of the photograph you like.
I did look at the photograph, and it is, that's what I said. I can only just see my car number of my car, but there's absolutely nothing, not even the picture of a car.
And it's just the number plate?
Absolutely, just the number plate, and it's absolutely dark. It's black round. My number plate is the only thing I can see. And so they have fined me, and I was overseas when I got this fine. They have put a penalty on top of that as well, but I can sort of deal with that. But I don't think I have to pay for this because this could be when my car was parked in the driveway.
Then you can dispute the camera you can dispute perhaps in this case, there's a commissioner for traffic camera offences. Go and talk to that organisation about the quality of the photo and whether it's possible to identify where it was taken.
Good to talk to you this morning. Good luck with that, Jan. Thanks so much. And David Whiting, great to have you out here at the State Basketball Centre. We'll go and shoot some hoops, shall we?
Well, not hoops, but I'm going to wander around.
As much as we can promise. David Whiting, who takes your calls every week. Nice job with the theme, guys, by the way. Don't you think that splits the difference nicely, David? Do you like that, the theme? We got a little bit of both.
I didn't know where we were going, so I spent some time looking for legal themes. I think between us we've got the best possible combination.
There you go. Well done. You can't please all of the people all of the time.